I don't think I have ever met anyone who enjoys doing the dishes. Some people dislike them, some people hate them, and some people, like me, loathe them entirely. I didn't even like doing the dishes back when I had a dishwasher in my student apartment. It was really hard for me, for some reason, to just rinse them off and put them in the dishwasher. I had a sort of mental block about it, I guess. It's become even worse since I moved into my married apartment. My fiancé, bless him, usually does the dishes when he comes over to visit me. I mean, I feed him the majority of the time, so it's partially his mess. But anyway, on this particular day, he was going into a 10-hour shift, and I would have to be the worst fiancé in the entire world to make him do the dishes before going into a 10-hour shift at work, making food and washing dishes. So, the challenge awaited. It was a mountain of dishes. Really, it was more of a mountain range because there were at least 3 distinct peaks of dishes in there. Every single inch of both sides of the sink were crammed with various spoons and forks and spatulas that I had been using for most of the week. And not just dishes, there were bits of food too, left over from various meals. Soggy bits of Honey Nut Cheerios, bits of brownie still stuck in the pan, and the nastiest, soggy chicken fat. It was not a pretty sight. So, I start the dishes. And I do this a little awkwardly because I usually don't do the dishes by hand. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. I fumbled several times, and I'm honestly shocked that nothing broke. So, I start doing the dishes, scrubbing, kind of absent-mindedly singing to myself, humming a little, and the water's running, and then suddenly I see the water levels rising, like in a horror movie when the characters are trapped in a room and it's flooding and they're getting really close to that 2-inch gap between the water and the ceiling closing in on them. That's basically what was happening in the sink. I looked to see what was wrong, and I couldn't see anything, so I reach in there and I start grasping at something, and I realize there's a plug in the sink. But trying to grab it, it's like trying to grab a greased pig. So my already slippery, pruny fingers can't get a hold on this plug. So I keep trying, and when I do pull it out, there's this satisfying swishing noise as all of the water makes a vortex of death going down the drain. So I turn the water back on and continue my scrubbing. It took a really long time. I was probably doing dishes for 45 minutes. Either I was slow or I just had way too many dishes. It was hard, and I kept getting distracted by other things. My phone would go off, or I would want to go check something. Pretty sure I had something in the oven at that point too, and I had to go check that periodically. So, probably took longer than it would have taken with the average person. But, after all of that disgusting agony, after touching disgusting wet food with my bare hands, and scrubbing until I couldn't even feel the tips of my fingers anymore, the dishes were done. And all was right in the world. For about 5 minutes until I had to use a spoon.